Hi, everybody. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Welcome to Candid Frank Live. Welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Zingo TV, channel 250. Please remember to download the Zingo TV app at the respective app stores for iOS and Android devices. While you download, make sure you rate and leave a comment. Both apps are absolutely free. Zingo TV is available on Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire TV sticks, Roku sticks, and also on all smart TVs 2016 forward. Now on Candid Frank Live, joining me is Aaron William Freeland. Hey, Aaron, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing, Frank?
Oh, me computer, she no like me.
Oh, I heard
He,
about that.
she, it, they, it is possessed
I
by
heard
the
you'd had some
devil.
trials and tribulations yesterday as well.
Did you? What was your problem?
Oh no, you mentioned
Oh,
yesterday you were having some trials and tribulations.
I got. You know what? We got a half hour. What the hell? I can probably tell the whole story. I apologize for the word. Uh, so my mother's a cheap date. So it's Easter. So we went for a visit,
Hmm.
and she loves Burger King. And the last time I went there, brought her to Burger King was on Tuesday. And she reminded me on the next day, Wednesday, when we talked on the phone after coming back up here. She said, "But Frankie, be better if we go on Wednesday. You get a discount." And I said, "The discount? Oh, yeah. Wednesday, Burger King does. They don't sponsor us, by the way. Wednesday, you get the discount." I said, "Oh, right. Okay. Well, next time I come, we'll go on Wednesday." So we went yesterday, Wednesday, went there, parked in the, had the burger, went to her place, backed over a curb cut where, the curb goes like this for the driveway.
Yep.
It was broken concrete. It, I guess, cut the tire. I got a flat. So Aaron's ready to do a show, and I'm driving back at 80 kilometers an hour all the way. It's normally a 1.5 hour drive. I got home last night at 8 o'clock,
Oh
and
goodness.
it was a bit longer of a drive. When you're going, I was like that. Look at that stupid old man on the road there. He's going below the speed limit, and of course, I have my hazards on, saying, "Look at me, I'm a dummy. I'm so stupid. I don't know how to drive." And I got the one tire, that's a little smaller than the rest. So, the guy can't even afford a decent car. So basically, it was an interesting drive home. And today the computer just decided, back in the day when it had the sand bottle, right?
The hourglass. Yep.
Turn, yeah, the hourglass. Thank you. It just kept turning. Now they got the circle, and it was doing this. And I'm on
Ah,
the
the
phone
little
with
pin
Aaron.
yellow death. You gotta love it.
I'm on the phone with Eduardo. I'm watching the Word document. It says it's going to come up, and this is what it's doing. Now, I don't want to do it for a half hour like I just had it happen to me, but I think you folks can get the message. And of course, I guess that brings me to a subject maybe I can ask you about. For many people, an investment in a computer is a serious investment. It's not a small purchase for people who really feel they need a decent computer. Now, having said that, you can buy various versions of computers, tablets, etc., for a reasonable price. But sometimes, if you believe that in quality and you spend good money on a computer, you expect it to last, a couple of years, right? Which is why
Yeah.
you spend the money so that it doesn't get outdated. And then you don't have to go through that stupid ritual of repopulating a computer. And so, for some, going from Windows 10 to 11 is not possible because the computer has served a good amount of time, like mine has. So I'm wrestling with the idea of walking away from a computer, which, by the way, folks, if you don't know, 25/25, January 1st, 2025, Windows 10 will not be supported after that. Do I have the fact right? Is it 25,
I
25?
believe so. Yeah. You've got a
Right?
couple of years at least to try to get your ducks in a row to
Yeah.
get a new computer purchased.
Yeah. So, you can see it's coming down the pipe. Now, unlike other years, Aaron, there are other ways to go. Microsoft doesn't have as big a lock on, It's basically the operating system, which is basically the transmission of the computer, right? So how do you feel about computers and how are they treating you? And I know that you need it for work, so I know it's a necessity for you working wise.
Well, we're fortunate in that I'm employed by a company that's big enough to send us home with their own bulk barn version of computers. So, they purchase everything in bulk. We had to wait a significant amount of time for them to arrive from China. They finally arrived, and we're all set up at home. Personally, I do this show on a separate computer. I actually have a small gaming laptop that I use for that sort of thing, with the built-in camera and all that sort of fun stuff. So I'm not using my work computer because they would flag that. But yeah, it's one of those things that eventually you get to a certain point where it's like, well, I've had computer X for so many number of years now. There's only so many times I can upgrade it, and there's only so much I can actually shoehorn into it. Sometimes it comes actually time that you do got to lay out for one. And speaking for myself personally, I know I paid a little bit more than I expected to for the computer that I'm currently working on and broadcasting from. But to me, it's worth it because it'll last for a couple of years.
And I guess the next question is, in the sense of computers and computers working and such, I don't know whether it's because of what we're going through and whether the priorities, there's a lot of things that have jumped the queue, if you will, life, the pandemic and stuff like that, where decisions or the need to replace a computer, the need to replace a car, all of a sudden becomes secondary under the circumstances we've lived under. How do you think your life has changed? And by the way, we didn't rehearse this, folks, so I'm totally making Aaron fly by the seat of his jockey pit shorts. Assuming he wears them, I really don't know. How do you feel about that?
Well, it is always a matter of prioritizing. Certain things are deemed to be not as necessary. I mean, if you can get along without a vehicle, fantastic. If you can get along without necessarily having to upgrade your technology, because that's usually the biggest expense, so much the better. I mean, speaking personally, I really bit the bullet for the computer that I'm currently using. That was a big layout for me. It made me a little bit uncomfortable because I'm not a fan of spending money, in case you hadn't noticed. But it is what it is. It's sometimes at some point, eventually you're going to have to do it. So whether you bite the bullet now or you bite the bullet later, that's really up to you.
Those are the kinds of purchases that you make. Just like I was saying about the investment, right? You decide you don't want to do it again and again. Like some people, and the pandemic has created this circumstance that people have to prioritize stuff that other people are going, I don't know if I want to get a new one today, whether it be a car, a computer, or a new membership to a new gym. You know what I'm saying, right? There's people who can have that debate and truly decide whether or not they want to spend money. For other people, it's a situation where they have to spend the money and then figure out where they can find it. And for those people, I just like to say, whether they're on here or not, or whether we run into them or not, I hope things get better for you, because this is, as a retired guy that doesn't have to worry about going into work and who has already budgeted himself, basically for me, it's not a situation where I have to live with less than I did before the pandemic. So for those of you that do, I wish you a lot of luck. My prayers go to you to try and work things out. Sometimes we sit a little jaded wondering about how tough our lives are, when really there isn't. For me, it's not a tough life at all, other than getting old. And maybe I've forgotten the stuff I should be upset about. Maybe that's a good thing.
Well, this is one of those Hoffa situations. We hold off for
yeah, no kidding. Okay, let's go to soccer. And the big story here is Larry. The word has been that Larry Tannenbaum's been interested in a certain soccer team in Great Britain known as Chelsea. Also happens to be the team owned by a pretty now famous oligarch from Russia. Tell us about this story.
So this is Larry Tannenbaum's attached his name to a bid for Chelsea launched by Boston Celtics co-owner Steve Paliuka as well. Now they're part of a group that's going in on this. They face three other rival bidders for Chelsea. So we're looking at Chicago Cubs owner Tom Ricketts, who is also on the Republican National Committee. He's their treasurer chair.
The Ricketts family.
Yeah, very, very rich. We also have the Los Angeles Dodgers part owner Tom Bailey, and another group fronted by former Liverpool and British Airways chairman Martin Broughton, which also involves Josh Harris, who owns the Philadelphia 76ers and also has a stake in Premier League club Crystal Palace. So there's a lot of moving parts now here. In addition, Peter Gruber has announced that he's going to be part of Paliuka's bid as well. Peter Gruber is also one of the Dodgers ownership group. So,
yeah. So what you've got here is a lot of North American money, and and there seems to be a theme. That is, Major League Baseball seems to be the theme, and we do know that for a short time, the Blue Jays were possibly being shadowed by the company that owns the Red Sox in the hopes of adding the Blue Jays to their little group of teams. You look at Britain, it basically, when you have companies outside your country, that is also, it's good news and also bad news that you have basically an organization like Chelsea, which is a local team in Britain that is owned by, right now, an oligarch, and there isn't going to be a British person that's going to buy the team. All we're hearing is about American money, Major League Baseball, and I don't know how that fits into sports and how it works. They're basically, literally, we've referred to them for years as properties. That's really all they are, and Chelsea is one of the most popular properties to pick up.
And with the way that Abramovich has been pumping money into it in order to win championships and pump his own tires, this is a situation where, again, it becomes more and more valuable. Now, the other issue that you have to be concerned about here as well is that these companies are only as valuable as long as people are willing to pay money for them. So if Abramovich does actually sell and then the team starts to do poorly, like an NFT, you're stuck with something that nobody may want to buy. So there's that.
Jinx on you. Canadian captain Atiba Hutchison has joined the group that, he's been with them for a while, Simcoe FC, which, for those of you that may not know, that's basically the Barrie area.
Correct. Now, he's 39 years old. He's currently captain of Turkey's Besiktas team. But currently, Julian de Guzman and Kyle Larin, Donald Henry and Janine Becky are all part of the club, and he's joined it as well. It's a League One Ontario club, which is the third tier of soccer in the province, with a men's and women's Premier Division. But it's good to see him getting involved, parlaying his popularity as well as his success with the men's team into something that can help local and grassroots soccer grow even more. So this is a great partnership for Simcoe County.
And then you've got a CPL team moving into the Vancouver area, which is a first. Montreal and Toronto have their MLS teams, but they don't really have. You got York, but this is one that they're talking about, Vancouver. The popularity of soccer, having two teams, CPL and MLS, in the same neighborhood, is a pretty interesting step in the growing game of soccer in Canada.
It most definitely is. Now, Langley itself is about 45 kilometers southeast of Vancouver. It's a small area. There's about 145,000 residents. Most people won't necessarily know it for soccer, but they're more likely to know it for lacrosse and for some of the junior hockey teams that play out of there. So I am actually really glad to see Langley being welcomed in there. It's going to be Langley and Willoughby Community Park is going to be the franchise home. So that's really good for the area, really good for development of soccer in Canada.
I heard a couple of fans, they were laughing and ribbing Vladimir Guerrero Jr. about hitting a triple. And they were kind of making cracks about him not being able to hit a triple. And apparently he heard word about it and went out and played the Yanks yesterday and got 3 home runs. But they didn't mean 3 home runs. I guess he didn't want to run around all the bases.
To be fair, having to sprint 90 feet from third base to home is a real.
He got his version of a triple.
This was after he had his right hand repaired too. Shortly before he actually launched the first of his homers, he actually had his right hand stepped on and had to get his ring finger stitched up. 4 for 4 on the night, I believe, 3 home runs. 12 bases. Like, this is pretty fantastic for him.
Second time that he's done it in his career, something his father never did. And yet, we know he's a member of the Hall of Fame.
Now, is he better than Austin Matthews?
At hitting a baseball? Absolutely.
No
argument. I wouldn't think he has as good a shot as Matthews, though. Mind you,
never know. I'm thinking, though, if he can equal Matthews' scoring output, I would love to see him have a 58 or 60 home run season. That would be fantastic.
Hey, listen, there's a lacrosse goal, right? Why not a baseball goal? He definitely probably will outscore Matthews on pucks that are a foot or higher, right? So he might have a better shot at those. And I'll tell you, it'll probably go through the webbing, like it did through the webbing of the glove, to go full circle. Let's talk about other sports in the NFL. There's some business going on with Congress. They're a little irritated. I'm confused as to how sports franchises in the States continue to do this to themselves. But the House Committee on Oversight and Reform has accused Commanders executives and team owner Daniel Snyder of hiding revenue from the NFL, for over a decade by withholding security deposits that should have been refunded to season ticket holders. This is a large, it's insane to think that, hey, we're taking these deposits, but we're not reporting it as income, and we're not giving it back to you. It's like they're trying to hold a hidden war stash. But apparently, one of their former employees turned over evidence over 24 years that indicated that they were hiding money from the FTC. Let's go on to the Raptors, and Jurassic Park is reopening, and we've had some thrilling moments there that we've witnessed, and the fans, of course, more than anyone, will enjoy that experience. Without being able to buy a ticket and be in the stadium, this is the next best thing.
Yeah, so for those fans who want to get down there to see a game and unfortunately can't afford tickets, Jurassic Park will be open. However, you will need to register online to get a ticket or a virtual pass in order to get into the courtyard. So
is it a virtual or a real cost?
No, it's free, but you'll need to display the pass on your cell phone, which is available through the Scotiabank Arena website. So now, in addition to this, it'll be open for the Maple Leafs as well. So that'll be beginning May 2nd. No mention as to whether or not you'll need to mask because it's outdoors, or if you'll need to provide a vaccine passport, because all of those restrictions are due to be dropped by the 27th of April. But we'll have to see what happens.
So, Aaron, when I'm ticked at you, I shouldn't be flashing any kind of signs. Apparently, Ryan Hartman got in a little trouble for flashing a sign towards Evander Kane, who's been known to irritate a few people on the ice from time to time.
Yeah. Now, Hartman also coincidentally had a goal. Actually, he had 2, along with Kevin Fiala in the Wild beating the Oilers 5-1 the other night. But at the same time, he got involved in a little fracas with Evander Kane and gave him the old Trudeau salute as he was being pulled off the ice. He has since been fined the maximum amount available, which is $4,250. So for those of you who are interested, that's the price for fingering someone in the NHL.
5-finger salute -4. Svechnikov, tie-breaking goal sends Jets past the Red Wings. Sorry.
So this was the tiebreaker for him, and it's not that Svechnikov, it's the other Svechnikov.
Yeah.
He got a goal midway through the third
Light.
last night. I don't think he's pulled off the lacrosse goal yet. So, Morgan Barron had a goal and assist, and Paul Sassany also scored for Winnipeg. So this is, again, Montreal had a nice 3-game winning streak together, and then the Winnipeg Jets had to go and spoil it. But it is what it is. So they're keeping their playoff bid alive, and Montreal slowly getting a stranglehold on that first-round draft pick.
Stützle led the Senators past the Detroit Red Wings.
So Timmy Stützle had a fantastic game. It was about time. He was due. He had 2 goals and an assist. Austin Watson also had a goal and an assist as Ottawa managed to stop their 3-game slide. Drake Batherson, in one of his first few games back after injury, managed to snap the tie in the second period, getting the 2-1 goal, and Anton Forsberg came up big with 24 saves on 25 shots.
It's still winter in Winnipeg.
Yeah, they've actually had to cancel their game tonight against the Seattle Kraken due to impending storms. I've seen some of the pictures that are coming out of Winnipeg, and
it's unbelievable.
It's like spring is canceled all over again.
In Saskatchewan too. Tkachuk hat trick, Powers Flames past Kraken. Boy, this team is really rolling.
Oh, they are absolutely on fire again, and it's good to see. They're definitely making a strong push for it. But yeah, he's got 37 so far this season. Hanifin had a goal, and Andrew Mangiapane also scored. They scored 4 unanswered goals in the third period for their 5th straight win.
Pedersen puts up 3 points. Canucks edge the Golden Knights.
So this was crucial for the Canucks if they wanted to stay alive, especially winning in overtime as they did. Quinn Hughes was the one that put the capper on it 51 seconds into overtime. That puts Vancouver within 3 points of Vegas. They're both actually currently fighting for a wild card spot. I'm interested to see how this all plays out, because I know that Vegas has been having some man games lost issues and long-term injured reserve issues. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. In all of this, I do feel a little bit upset for Jack Eichel. I know he went to Vegas looking to try to find a deep playoff run, but there is the chance right now that he could potentially miss it with this team. And I don't know if it's going to be getting any better for them next year, because they're still going to have cap problems.
Now, the Maple Leafs were accused of literally forcing a young child to leave a hockey game with his Montreal hockey stick souvenir from, I think it was Suzuki, wasn't it?
Yes. So what happened was, during the warm-up, Nick Suzuki went to flip a puck to this kid, and unfortunately the kid missed it, and it gave him a fat lip. So Suzuki came by and presented him with a signed stick, which the kid had with him for most of the game. And when they were walking around the concourse with about 10 minutes left in the third period, security approached them and asked them if they would like to check the stick or, leave with it. And they elected to leave with the stick as opposed to checking it and picking it up after the game.
A few years ago, I tried entering a rock game with this thing.
Yeah, they didn't let you, did they?
They didn't let me do it. And what they said was, bring it over there and you can get it after the game. So I knew that was a BS story that a Montreal fan or a Toronto hater was just posting. It was a BS line. There was no truth to it. It was just bogus. Sabres down the Maple Leafs. We only got a couple of minutes left to talk about this. Thanks God.
Yeah, it was good to see Owen Power play.
What a great kid.
Oh, what a great debut for him. His 92-year-old grandma was there too. She was having a whale of a time. The Sabres just ran through the Leafs 5-2. The Leafs didn't look interested. It's like they kind of given up on the game before the game had even started. They were just sort of like, well, it doesn't mean anything. They're not going to catch us. We're not going to fall out of a playoff spot. So
one could say the Sabres cut up the Maple Leafs.
Yes, one could. I won't, but one could.
Or they were gored by the.
Oh no! Oh no! Please don't. The Buffalo Sabres stampeded to a win.
You remember the days when the Leafs weren't making the playoffs, and at the end of the year they'd win a game against a contender, and it would be like, Our season has been salvaged. That's where Buffalo is right now. Where them in Montreal beating Toronto, that is really a role reversal, right? I mean, that should make Leaf fans very happy and very proud to know that other teams that aren't making the playoffs are deriving a ton of satisfaction in beating their team.
And again, they're gunning for us. We're the team to beat at this point because we're doing so well.
Well, the Leafs are a team to beat that will be going to the playoffs, which is basically by transference, we should be in the playoffs because we beat them this time. Anyway, congratulations to the Sabres for winning the season series against the Maple Leafs. Good luck in the draft lottery. Thanks, Aaron. This was awesome.
Thanks, Frank.
Okay, I'm Candid Frank Stanisci for Aaron William Freeland. Thank you for watching Candid Frank Live, Aaron, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Today was a special Thursday show. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish World Radio Network. For Candid Frank Live, other news, entertainment, and sports programming we offer, please check out SpanglishWorld.ca. Spanglish World. Watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thanks for watching, everybody. Ciao for now.